Thank you for being here today. Our goal today is to analyze the data, share perspectives, and decide on a specific focus for improving instruction for our emergent bilingual students. Let's start with the data carousel we just completed. Each of you looked at the TARP, the TELPAS, and the benchmarks. So would you share what stood out to you?
I noticed that in math, our EB students are really struggling with word problems. Their computation skills aren't always the problem, it's more vocabulary based and kind of breaking down what the question is asking in those word problems. They get confused in terms like evaluate and justify, and then they also kind of get confused in those wordier questions with like how many more or what's the difference, which lower their accuracy. So if we work on academic language and breaking down those word problems, I think it'll be a great support for our EB students.
I agree. I've noticed that a lot in my walkthroughs. Teachers are teaching the math concepts, but without those structured opportunities to develop academic language, students aren't able to explain their thinking clearly. They show it on paper, but then they're having a hard time verbalizing it to their peers and teachers. This gap is actually showing up in reading and in math.
Exactly. TELPAS data confirms this. Writing scores dropped in the last 2 years, and speaking is just flat. That tells me that our students aren't getting enough structured practice with academic language in the classrooms. We need to embed language objectives across all content areas.
Those are some great insights. I love the observations and the feedback here. Let's move to the round robin protocol. Each of us will share one potential focus area that we think could address these issues that we're facing.
I really suggest kind of a structured talk of breaking down that question and then doing some think, pair, shares with sentence stems so students get used to academic vocabulary while they're solving problems.
Yeah, I think that we should focus on formative assessments so that if teachers are using like a quick exit ticket with sentence stems, they can see right away and identify whether or not those EB students are mastering both the content and being able to speak and verbalize with correct language.
My priority is a vocabulary routine, so word walls, visuals, and consistent practices across subjects. Vocabulary is foundational, and once students build it, comprehension will improve.
I like all of these. Let's use the strategy sorting activity to decide what's really high impact, ready to implement now, and then what might we consider for later.
Okay. So I think that sentence stems and the structured talk feel like quick wins for us. They don't require a whole lot of extra resources for our teachers. It's just consistent use. That should go in our ready now pile.
I agree. I can see myself just adding sentence stems in my lesson tomorrow. For example, we can go over the problem is asking me to, or to solve this I will, and I think that'll really help them kind of understand what the question is asking.
Yes, and I'd add visuals and word walls to the ready now pile too. We can train teachers to co-create them with the students. They're simple but powerful in building comprehension.
Perfect. So let's prioritize sentence stems, structured talk, and visuals, word walls as immediate strategies. Formative assessments routines will save and will be our next phase. I think this focus will give us consistency across the classrooms and directly address the data trends that we've been seeing. So I want to thank you for your input. This is exactly what type of collaboration that makes the plan a strong one. Thank you.
All right.
I want to thank you for coming today. I really appreciate your time and effort, and man, it's valuable work what we're doing. But today I want us to reflect on a few things about the work that we've done. I want us to take a few minutes to see the growth and the collaborative effort that we've made, and for each of us to share your benefits, your experience from that. We've accomplished a lot, but I think it's just important to pause and to ask ourselves, how have we grown as professionals through our work? Let me start our reflection time. Honestly, I thought being a team leader meant that I had to carry most of the weight. This is new territory for me, and I felt like I had to do a lot of directing, but I learned that guiding and facilitating was the best work, and you guys helped me to understand that. So, for example, when I was summarized our next steps after one of our meetings, it wasn't about me taking control, but more making sure that you guys felt valued and that your input was considered and aligned to our purpose as a team. And our best ideas came when everyone had a chance to weigh in.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized my goal was often to guide and to not direct. I've learned to be a better listener through the process, because my natural inkling is to problem solve and to jump right in, and I don't often consider the input. I just want to solve the problem, and so that's been a learning point for me, and that built my confidence as a new kind of leader.
I really liked having those summaries at the end of our meetings. It kind of kept me grounded of what I, leaving that meeting, of what I needed to go and accomplish, because I'm a new teacher and I have, you know, piles and piles of work of my lesson plans and everything else. So it was also nice to have, like, all right, my takeaways from this meeting was this, this, and this. And so it was really nice to really have that summary. And, you know, during that time I felt like I wasn't contributing enough because I'm new, I don't have a lot of ideas, but y'all just made me really kind of build my confidence as a teacher. And then also just kind of the way you've listened and took a step back into the direct leadership made me feel like I can come to you for more help, and it made kind of asking for help a lot less scary and just a little bit more like your job was to help me and not, you know, help and guide me, and not necessarily just like, oh, you do this, oh, you did it wrong. Like, and so I really appreciated you just kind of having that step back. It helped me grow a lot too, and it made me feel like I had someone here who was here to support me, and so I really appreciate that. But as far as our meetings, I really liked our sentence stems and our vocab routines. I think I saw the most growth for my students there, and y'all just made me feel like it was easy and built up my confidence to do it in my classroom.
Thank you for your honesty and for sharing that. It does mean a lot as the facilitator here to hear that, and it really supports and strengthens our team when we're sort of vulnerable like that. Your trial runs in math gave us some concrete examples that we could all learn from. Remember when we saw students using your sentence stems to explain their problem solving? That allowed and that showed strategies were working in real time. And so that's evidence that the plan that we set in place is working.
Absolutely, and that was exciting for me too. I often focus on the theory side of language acquisition, but seeing your math, students actually use those strategies made me think about my role differently, and especially how can we support them in real time. I realized my job wasn't just to share research, it was to translate into tools that you could use right away. So that's why I appreciate us coming together and working collaboratively. I can see the benefit. We're having open and honest conversations, and so that was a new learning for me, and I love learning new things, and you guys have made me feel comfortable to learn new things and implement them all around for everyone.
Yeah, I feel the same as you. As an instructional coach, usually I'm just putting someone on a coaching cycle, modeling that strategy, and then moving on. But in this group and with your leadership, it wasn't just me teaching. It was a lot of conversations and talking about how we're going to adapt those strategies across all subjects that I'm stepping into. Like when I'm demonstrating a vocabulary routine, and then we discussed how it might look in science versus math, or in your second period versus your sixth, that tough conversation that we had about that, and just having a lot of teacher knowledge of students, what's going to work best for that class period, breaking it down even to the time of day. You know, those kiddos were coming back from lunch and it just wasn't gonna flow right, so we had to kind of make some adjustments, and that back and forth really helped me grow as a coach too.
Absolutely. Your work and the examples that you had and your coaching helped me to understand using these strategies in my classroom and improving on my lesson. Whereas used to, I would tack vocabulary on to the end of a lesson. I'm more intentional and focused to build it from the very get-go, and to make sure I use the academic language as a priority for students, especially emergent bilinguals, and using multiple types of strategies that I wouldn't normally have used in the past on them. So that's a direct shift from our discussions that we had as a team that improved my craft.
And it wasn't just strategies of y'all just telling me how to do the strategies. It was also helping me build my confidence of me figuring out what a good one looks like, what a bad kind of conversation looks like, or a bad vocab routine, and then just going through and practicing it, how to make these edits. And so for me, just allowing to practice it, I really appreciate that, because once I had that confidence, taking that into my classroom was really helped, I think, overall big picture, and also kind of seeing, you know, from someone who's new to teaching and who hasn't been in teaching, because I got my alt cert, to someone who's been teaching for a while, see us both work on the same thing and come from different backgrounds was also really helpful, and it kind of gave me courage to see that, like, oh, it's not just a me issue, it's a bigger picture issue, and us working together really helped me build my confidence, and I think it showed in the classroom as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what collaboration is meant to do. It's to help us see our challenges as shared ones. And I've seen your confidence grow through the artifacts that we've collected, and like the student work samples we collected. It's clear your students are benefiting from your risk-taking, and that's something that I would hope that all educators would see and would incorporate some risk-taking. It's okay to fail, but if we don't try, we certainly will fail. So I appreciate that.
And I'll add that I grew in learning how to communicate differently. Sometimes I fall into using technical terms, but this team pushed me to explain things in a way that was practical and clear. That's something I'll carry on to my work with other teachers.
Hearing you break things down actually helped me too, because I'm so used to stepping in and giving every teacher, every type of teacher, the same coaching. But really, you gave me language that I could use when coaching teachers who don't know or don't have a background in EB, especially newer teachers that are alt cert and have never been in a classroom before. So I thank you for that, and I think that it's going to make some changes across the board as far as how I'm approaching those teachers who don't have a background in emergent bilingual instruction.
Yeah, and it was really helpful for me because I didn't have that background, and so coming in when it was everything on everything, it just made it a lot easier too, because it became part of a routine and not necessarily another task I had to do.
Yeah, that's definitely the strength of this group, and hopefully a strategy that we can show the whole campus that it works, the collaborative aspect of it. We're just not learning as individuals, but we're shaping each other's practice. And I hope people and educators feel vulnerable enough to take risks and to allow us to help mentor their work. My biggest takeaway is that growth happened because we shared and we reflected and we supported one another. The evidence of our work is definitely clear. The effective PD that we developed and the student growth data is there. Their achievement is there, and it demonstrates that what we're doing is working. Honestly, I think the biggest win is the professional growth we've all experienced as a team, and that will definitely change our school culture moving forward. I know our district and our campus improvement plan was focused on emergent bilinguals, and our work here has drastically improved and helped emergent bilinguals to be successful. And that's the end goal. We certainly benefited from it as educators. We've sharpened our craft, but the end goal is the student and their success. And so I want to thank you for your time and involvement on this team to do that, and your expertise and feedback definitely contributes to a better school culture. Thank you.
No problem.